following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys discuss the life and legacy of Kobe Bryant, preview Super Bowl 54, and answer a listener question. And as always, they wrap things up with some trivia. On to the show.
Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Check. Pool. Money. West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up. Keep it trail, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, forget out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. On to the Shy Life. I'm gonna let this ride out though. This is the Defy Life. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. You can listen to us on defylifepods.com or anywhere else your favorite podcasts are available. This is episode 142, y'all. Come on in, wipe your feet, close the door behind you. I'm your host, J.R. Glimph, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Thomas Stevens, Alvin Glimph. What's good, Pooh?
Man, what is good? I'm here. I'm ready to get it popping.
No doubt. Yeah, man. A little bit of a hectic night, you said last night. Y'all was recording Speak the Truth to burning both ends of the candle, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It was, and then it was, it was supposed to be a short show. You know, we didn't really care for the episode. Really didn't see a need for it. Mm-hmm. However, we had to do a show. All right. So and we did. We spoke a little about Kobe. You know, we entered the show, a little entrance on Kobe. Of course, everybody. You know, if you don't know about Kobe, you've been living under a rock. Right. You know, if you don't know who Kobe is, you've been living under a rock. So you know, shout out Kobe though.
No doubt.
But the show went well. Extremely well.
Cool. Al, what's good, man?
Man, what's going on, fellas? Always an honor, pleasure to be here. So, just under the circumstances, just a shitty time. You know, I just that. I mean, we're gonna talk about it, but that hit hard. Kobe, and but. That being said, you know, it's still a blessing to be here, and
no doubt.
Don't take it for granted. So let's do it and let's have some fun.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You know, first off, you know, full transparency. Just want to say, hey, man, I love you guys. You know, it's incidents like this that remind us, to, you know, give people their flowers while they're alive. So. I love y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy y'all. Y'all are literally the highlight of my week. So just want to let y'all know how much I appreciate you.
Man, right back at you. And I think on top of that, it's a reminder that, you know, you be great every day, get better every day, because, you know, even though his life was short, he at one point was the best in the world at something.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And to achieve the best in the world at something, you lived a hell of a life.
No doubt.
So, you know, that to me is, he got there though. You know, that to me is like the another lesson to how he got there, the constant work ethic and trying to be better every day is something that, especially considering, you think about how often we're like, well, I'll do that tomorrow. Or I'll work on that next year. Mm-hmm. And that's not how he lived his life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like tragedy is it just doesn't even do it justice. There are very few times in my life where I've been rendered like speechless. Mm-hmm. Like honestly speechless. Like you just don't know what to say in a situation. And, you could have given me, first of all, it's very rare that my phone is not in my hand. All right. I'm always glued to my phone, whether I'm working on my phone or, on the internet or doing something with Defy Life. My phone is always in my hand. And my phone charges so fast that even when I do have to charge, it's on the charger for 15, 20 minutes and boom, right back in my hand. This just happened to be one of those times where my phone was not in my hand. So 20 minutes, I didn't have my phone in my hand. And what do I see when I pick up my phone? And of course, it was the first report from TMZ, and I didn't believe it. I was like, man, I don't trust TMZ. And, it started, the more reputable sites started rolling in. And I was speechless, man. You could have, I didn't know what to say at all. And I'm getting emotional even thinking about you see something and you start going through your phone, like trying to figure out, is this true? Is it true? And it's those moments you feel helpless. And you could have given me, a list of 1,000 names. And Kobe would have been and told me that, this person is going to die today. Kobe would have been at the bottom of that list every single time. Because Kobe's one of those people we just assumed was going to always be around. He was Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's tough. And Al, you were the first person I thought about when I saw it.
And a lot of people did. So I was coaching on Sunday. And so just happened to be charging my phone throughout the whole time. So actually, we got rocked. So we probably lost by 35, right? So, 35 in, what's that, 9-minute quarters. So you're talking about 35 points in 36 minutes. That's a big deficit. Right. And I'm sitting in the stands after the game and kind of feeling crazy down because I'm like, that's the second blowout that weekend. So we got rocked on Saturday. So I'm just sitting here like, wow, what a bad experience. And my wife is in the stands. And so I'm kind of debriefing about the game for about 5 minutes and getting ready to leave. And she was like, oh, did you check your phone? Did you see my text? And I was like, what? No. Why? What happened? Because now I know there's a reason she's telling me what happened. She was like, oh, man, you didn't see a text? Kobe Bryant died. And, for like 5 seconds, I'm processing what I heard. Like, what? Because I swear, it sounded like she said Kobe Bryant died. I was like, what'd you say? She said Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash. Now my brain is racing like, give her time to say she's joking.
Right.
She's not. Oh, and then that's when it just hit me. And she looked at my face like, oh my God, like he's taking it. Like she didn't expect my reaction, but she could tell. I instantly just, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so I get my phone. And that's when I see texts, phone calls, because people know I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan, big Laker fan. And so people were calling to see if I heard, to check. And still just 2 days later, I'm still like, this shit. It's hard to believe, and just really, and honestly, truth be told, it ain't too many people I've never met in my life, person to person, that when they pass on, I mourn. And I don't know how other people are, but that list is handful at best, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I feel sorry and sad and to their family and all of that, and I get it, but me feeling it myself, I could give you a short list of who that, and he was one of them, and still is.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But first, I just want to ask you, like, I mean, obviously, Al, you one of the biggest Kobe fans I know.
Jay, you still on mute?
Something you found far away.
Yeah.
Really? That
Come on this side of the river, Jay.
is that better?
That's a little better.
How about now?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. I really took 2 steps to the left. All right. Yeah, I mean, Al, I definitely feel you. That list is short for me too. Pooh, I know, like, you were, like, you had to grow into Kobe.
Right.
Early in his career, of course, all the Jordan comparisons. You're a Jordan guy, so it took you a while to warm up to Kobe. What did it take for Kobe to win you over?
It was, well, let me go. I'll definitely start with this though. It was when I heard about it, I thought of my little cousin Zach,
right?
Because he's always been a Kobe fanatic, and I mean he liked MJ, but I guess he was a little younger than me, so he was Kobe. Kobe was his guy. So whenever I said Mike did this, he says Kobe does that. So it was always that. It was always he and I with Kobe and Michael. So I was crushed. But this is what won me over with Kobe. I've always, admired his skill and I guess who or what Kobe was. But and it's gonna be kind of funny. Once I saw it was the rape case. After the rape case, and everything was stripped away from this guy. McDonald's walked away. Spalding walked away. Everyone walked away from this kid, and all he had was himself and his family, and God, and this kid laced him up. Went out there, worked hard. He re-imaged himself. He came out. He apologized to his wife. He apologized to his fans. He apologized to the kids. He apologized to whoever was listening. And he went out there and rededicated himself. Which he was already dedicated, but he morphed himself into something else. He was willing to sacrifice who he was to becoming more than what he ever dreamt to be. And that changed me. That forever changed me. That changed my entire perspective on Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, man.
People forget that the way he was kind of ostracized.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but a lot because of his brand and who he is now, and definitely at this point, who he will be. I think in terms of how people will look at him, going forward. I think for those of us who saw it and saw the pre-rape case, the right after the rape case, and then, like you said, who he built himself to be.
Right.
I think in many ways, like I compare it to a Muhammad Ali, like in very similar, very different reasons for why their career experienced that ostracizing,
right,
and then able to rebuild it. your brand to where you looked at very, very, very favorably, where mainstream didn't at one point. Like, I see that comparison in them, and that to me was impressive. You gotta respect anybody who's able to pick themselves up off the floor and recover.
Right.
Yeah,
Recover.
absolutely.
I definitely see the correlation.
Yeah.
I definitely can.
Yeah, man. And it's very few like moments in your life or even stretches in your life that are like unique, and you'll never get them back again. I think Kobe's probably going to be the last athlete for us and in our age range, in our generation, that gave us that feeling. And it's no secret I wasn't a huge Kobe fan of him as a player. I became Kobe fan, the man, after, closer to his retirement and seeing him become a father and, growing into, accepting his growth and acknowledging it and, repairing those bridges that, competition burnt a lot through his career. But I always say, like, for me, Shaq was the first, and I say strictly for basketball players, because I think this is more for basketball than football, because football players, we don't really get that attachment to like that because they have helmets on, they're not in many commercials. Basketball players, we tend to have more attachment to them and more access to them. So I would say Shaq was probably the first superstar that we got to see, and like for me, and this is like to grow from rookie or even college, and to see him grow and see his entire career. Like, by the time I came along and I understood sports, Jordan was already a superstar. Magic was already, so Shaq is probably the first one. Kobe's probably the last one. And it's those times where you'll never get it back again. Even LeBron, as much as I love LeBron, it doesn't give me that same feeling, because by the time LeBron came along, I was older and jaded. I didn't really, basketball players and athletes were not like as revered because we got everyday lives and we fathers and we doing stuff. So even LeBron doesn't give you that same like feeling to me that Kobe did. Kobe graduated, came out of high school the same year I graduated. So I got to see him go from, from a 17-year-old kid to the same age I am and progress through those years. I'll never get that feeling again. It's like first time I heard Wu-Tang. I'll never get that feeling again, because it's different when you 16, 17 and you understand it, but you ain't got the weight of life on you to kind of jade you.
Right.
So I remember, like, first time I heard Wu-Tang, I was like, whoa, this shit is different. And so same thing with Kobe. Like, when he came along, it was like, whoa, this dude is different. And this is, like, he's an icon of our generation. And to see that grow and progress, and to see him, like you said, Pooh, like morph, and throughout his life, it's like he grew up with us. We saw him take Brandy to the prom.
I never really
felt like family. Felt like family.
Oh, wow. Yeah, true that. I forgot about that too.
Right. I remember getting ready for the prom.
It just dawned on me
Kobe
that y'all are similar in age.
Right.
Like, that's interesting.
So
Yeah.
And so that is like this, like that whole '96 class, like, but Kobe was obviously the standout. But like I say, he'll be the last one that gave us that feeling. And the time that he came through, it was before social media, so we didn't have that kind of access that we have to like a LeBron or Kevin Durant, people like Steph Curry. So there was still some ounce of mystique,
Right.
and room to be misunderstood, like Kobe was a lot of times. Early in his career, like we didn't have that access to social media and to athletes in general. So with LeBron, it's a bit different. And Kobe wasn't groomed for this. Like, it was still early in the high school to pro era. LeBron was kind of groomed for it. So it wasn't as organic. Like, once he got to the NBA, his organic process kind of happened in high school.
I mean, when you think about the guys who came out of high school, I think part of his legacy will be he first great one to come out of high school, to where at a point where the league was really like, man, maybe this shit don't work. Like, we ain't really having all that much success. They had a few bust people coming out of high school. And I think, Kobe coming out of high school helped the league understand that, you know what, give these players some time.
All right.
They can develop into superstars.
Yeah. And
they can develop into superstars.
Yeah, having Garnett and Kobe come out back-to-back years was huge for that movement.
I think, for me, I think Magic and probably Ewing were the superstars that as a kid I kind of grew up with, right? And as I'm learning sports, they're my major athletes. What's so interesting about what you just said is I'm thinking about my own life. So when Kobe's coming out, I'm getting to the point of being jaded. I'm getting other things going on in my life. So it really took me years to really grasp and claim Kobe like, oh yeah, I'm a Kobe dude. And a lot of it came out of arguing on behalf of him. Like, so, Pooh, as you talked about how you would argue with your cousin about Kobe. Well, me and my cousin on this podcast, we had quite a few arguments before the podcast on Kobe, because and my brother's another one. I was the guy who would defend Kobe, and at some point it gets to a point where I'm like, yo, what I'm defending him on, I started believing.
Right.
And seeing it, like, yo, hold on, why y'all slighting this dude? And a lot of it, and honestly, in terms of when it happened, a lot of it came after the rape case. Because as a Laker fan, not even a Kobe fan yet, as a Laker fan, I'm like, yo, I understand he's been accused of something, but people are really not taking into account that, in my opinion, I'm seeing this kid as the best kid in the league. But the media and people were slighting him for legitimate reasons now. The rape case, I get it. That's something to feel bad for. I can see why somebody catch feelings. And the other thing, when he shitted on Shaq and snitched on Shaq.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of credibility with people I hung with man-to-man shit.
Right.
Just on some, fuck Kobe. And I'm like, yeah. But the dude is balling. Yeah, but he snitched on Shaq.
Like, fuck that dude.
He killing me. So eventually, though, I really started looking at this kid's tenacity and how he was a technician on the court. And I had never peeped that about him early on. I just liked his bravado.
Right.
Like, talk about some of my favorite moments. One of my favorite moments of Kobe is him as a rookie missing the last shot with an air ball.
The last three. That was my favorite moments as well too. And
saying, I should take that shot though. Yeah, I know I'm fit, but I should take that shot. I'm gonna make that shot. And I'm like, who is this kid? I like this kid. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to the Lakers.
I can remember that like yesterday, because I remember seeing, like, I actually saw the game, but I remember watching Sports Center, and Stewart, was calling it, and he called it he did a turnaround jumper, boom, air ball. He took 2 dribbles going to the lane, put up at the free throw line, air ball, and he came and did like a fadeaway 3-pointer air ball. And Stuart Scott said, this guy, he's going to be great one day. You could already see it in him. He's going to be great one day. And like, I never, ever, ever forgot it, because he had 3 All-Stars on the team.
Yeah.
Bro, and they wouldn't take the shot. They were losing, they wouldn't take the shot.
All right.
Well, he took the shot. Kobe took the shot. I'll take it.
Yeah, y'all don't want it. Yeah.
Like that to me is be something that I think made this shift. But I mean, y'all mentioned it. I think his failures made him relatable from a human side.
Yeah.
Because we all fail, and because he's on my team, as opposed to looking at it as something to pick at him at or remind people of the failures, because he's on my team, I looked at it as an opportunity for a person to grow. So like, if that was my point is like, there's been great players, LeBron, Michael, when they fail, it ain't something that I look at as a good thing. Like, I'm like, see, he missed a shot. See, he ain't shit. With Kobe, you know, you see it a little differently because he's one of yours. And I'm like, yo, this kid's a human guy. Cut him some slack. He a man too.
Right.
Yo, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
This one hurt, man.
It hurt.
You know, and
Yeah.
I don't know, like even with like all the stuff like when him and Shaq went through it, and you know that whole breakup of that team. You know, I was a Shaq guy, so I sided with everything Shaq. And like you said, that when he snitched on Shaq, I was like, yeah, enough of this guy. Shaq's my dude. But the older I got, and the older Kobe got, and to see him grow, and to look back on it, I kind of like. It was clear to me that I was hating Kobe because he's a lot like me.
Yeah.
In the sense, he's Shaq's a goofball. Shaq outwardly doesn't take much seriously.
And proud of
it. But Kobe's very introspective. He's an introvert. He's when he's focused on something, he's hyper focused, and like there's no like there's tunnel vision, and he expects everyone else around him who says, "Hey, I want to be a part of this," to be as focused as he is. And early in his career, it was to a fault, where he didn't know how to understand. Like, yo, you on this team, how can't you be this focused? And like. To look at that retrospectively, it's easy to understand how frustrated he could be with Shaq. And just to a point where he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. Get him out of here. I'll do this shit myself. As crazy as that seems to get rid of, to want to get rid of Shaq. Right.
Shaq.
But can you imagine somebody like with that mentality to have to come to training camp every year, and this dude showing up fat and out of shape and don't really get in shape until the All-Star break? Like, can you imagine how frustrating that had to be for Kobe? And we are who we are. He's wired how he's wired, and so is Shaq. And there's nothing he could do to help it. You're not going to change him. But again, it had to be extremely frustrating. And for him, after, later on in his career and after he retired, to be able to acknowledge his own faults and his own, weight in that mess, and to say, it took me a while to understand, it's okay to need help. It's okay. And even the stuff he went through with Phil Jackson, to say it's okay to need a leader to want to get, through your journey, to want to get to the mountaintop. You need a leader. And it doesn't always have to be you. So those things to have him acknowledge, like later in his career, and Kobe was, and to see him attack the things he was doing after his career with the same vigor he did his basketball career. Kobe was a fucking renaissance man, and we're not going to see many like him ever.
Nah. I mean, I think that change. It took him a long time. I mean, to make that shift, because I think when you're wired like that, I think he really understood that as what made him great. So, but I think his injuries and playing with younger talent and not being successful caused him to course correct and do that self-reflection and be like, and so to me, to your point, Jay, like that also gave me more reason to appreciate this man, because at later on in his career, still talented, still a dominant player, but later on in his career, 10 years in, brother's like, yo, how can I be better?
Right.
Maybe as a leader, maybe I can try to engage my teammates and coach differently, better than I've done in the past, and that might help me be more successful.
Right.
And he became better for it. I think he became a better teammate, better player.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those injuries might have given him some perspective and time to reflect on
Right.
what's not happening as his game morphed. I was gonna say declined, but I can't even say decline because Kobe's my dude. His game morphed to the end of his career.
Yeah, and even as a competitor, like even when he was in those moments, like Pooh, I hate to bring this up, but you ain't even have to be his enemy for him to give it to you, like that. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want to call it, the Mamba mentality, West Coast Jay call it murder, whatever you want to call it.
Murder.
Gave you the business.
The business, yeah. But you ain't even have to be his enemy. Like, this dude obviously idolized Michael Jordan, patterned his game after him, and they ain't shy to say it. Talks like him, everything. But when he played Mike, when Mike was with the Wizards, that dude dropped 55 on Mike and was like, here, take that into retirement with you, buddy.
Take that, son.
Like, he ain't with no heart. My guy.
Black Mamba was one of the greatest nicknames and really reflective of the player out there. Right? Because that killer instinct, the competitive spirit that he had, top 5 I've ever seen in athletes.
Yeah, and it's so fitting because the Black Mamba is known not only being one of the most venomous snakes, but also it will attack you without provocation.
Mm-hmm. Most aggressive.
Yeah, so Kobe didn't have to. Again, you didn't have to provoke him. It could have been his mom playing two guard for the other team. He gonna put up 50 on her.
Always on the attack.
Right.
Offensively and defensively. One of the best defensive performances I've seen by a superstar.
Right.
And there's been some great ones in the finals, but one of the best I've seen was him going against Allen Iverson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And both athletes, both players in their prime. To me, Kobe just with a strategic advantage of length. Mm-hmm. And that really challenged Iverson that series was his length, being able to contest his shots. And that was, as a Laker fan, I was like, thank you. Somebody could slow this dude down.
Right. Because
that first game, Iverson gave us work. He put in work.
Right. Yeah. Because, who's the point guard at the time? He stepped over. Was it Derek Fisher at that time?
It was Fisher.
Yeah. Fisher couldn't.
No, that was who? That was Louis stepped over.
Yeah, Tyrone Louis stepped over.
Yeah.
But they were both, they both still on the team, right?
Neither
one of them could guard AI, so it was, it was almost
no.
Yeah, it was like I could, hear Kobe in the huddle, like, man, put me on this stuff. Right.
I got it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Needless to say, it's tough, and and it's what's the worst is that initial gut punch, and then to hear his daughter was on the ride with him.
Yeah. And then 7 other people.
And then 7 other people, and her best friend, and both her parents.
Both parents. Yeah. Then when they came like Kobe, and then the daughter, and then 2 other babies.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And then her mom and dad, and I was like, oh wow, now they done left their now they just have a boy, a young man and another daughter at home, and they don't have any parents left. So,
exactly,
it just became sickening.
Yeah, it was too much, and I immediately you started grieving for his wife, for Kobe's wife, Vanessa. Mm-hmm. To have to grieve your child without your spouse.
Wow.
Like I can't even imagine.
That's hard to take.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Hard to even imagine, like you said.
Right.
Hard to, and because then they said that's like one of the most unbearable is losing a child.
Oh, right.
You know, because think about, you know, Kobe's parents just have to, you know, bury your child.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. I know my grandmother spoke to me about it, man, and I'm gonna just say this real quick. She just looked at me, man, and man, tear-filled eyes, and you know, my pop had passed, and she said, "Pooh," she said, "What we gonna do now?" She said, "I love you, I love your daddy. What we gonna do now?"
Wow.
And I was like, I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I have two siblings who've buried children, and neither one of them have been the same since. And everything I hear, you know, tragedy for tragedy, loss for loss, burying a child is the worst of them all.
Right.
Yeah, I can believe that.
To throw on top of now you're burying a spouse.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you know, of course, while, you know, just for my co-host, please, all our listeners know we are feeling for Kobe, his daughter, the people, like everybody. It is such an amazing tragedy.
Right.
Prayers to all of their families.
Right.
Strength, you know, for them to get through this rough time, because this is going to be...
It's going to be a long road, man.
Long haul.
And, you know, when something like this happens, I know at least for me, the first place my mind goes is like, I wonder what those final moments were like. And, you know, you can't help but to kind of take yourself there and imagine, you know, like I can't imagine like knowing death is imminent with my child in my arms and there's nothing I can do about it. But, you know, I guess that's there is like, can't really say silver lining, but she could have been on that helicopter alone. You know, and if you paid attention, you know, to their relationship, just how close he was to Gigi, and how proud he was of her, and just how in awe he was of how good she was as a basketball player. I don't know. There's a clip from I want to play from a couple years ago from when Kobe was on Jimmy Kimmel talking about her. I want to play this. This is so dope to me.
Do you think your daughter might want to play in the WNBA?
She does for sure.
She does?
I don't. I mean, this kid, man.
Wouldn't that be great,
dude? Man, I'm telling you, the best thing that happens is when we go out and fans will come up to me and she'll be standing next to me and they'll be like, "Hey, you gotta have a boy. You and V gotta have a boy, man. You have somebody carry on the tradition, the legacy." She's like, "Oi, I got this." You know, I got this. Like, that's right. Yes, you do. You got this.
Like, that's so dope to me.
That is dope.
Like, because, you know, Kobe, I've heard him several times, you know, kind of gush over the fact that he's a girl dad. And all these girls in the house, and it felt like that was his calling, to raise daughters. And to not be, you know, and to see him grow and to see him like morph into that guy, because young Kobe would probably be like, "Man, I want a son." So, you know, and a lot of us would, but to see him grow into that guy who's like, you can, to show his softer side. Right. And, you know, I always, you know, I don't have daughters, so I'm always in awe of you guys who do have daughters, because it allows you to show even a deeper, more vulnerable side of yourself. And
daughters offer a love. Like, so I can't even imagine having multiple daughters. Like, so to be a girl dad, like I really ain't even heard that term before, but understanding what one daughter offers.
Right.
If you're talking like that is then multiplied, like now you're being greedy. Because to me, my daughter offers me the love that only I can compare to my mother. And there's only two, they only really the two people that have loved me like this in this world so far. My mother and my daughter. And a lot of people love me, but not like them. And so now you're talking, multiply that by 3 or 4. Yo, yeah, that's dope. That's kind of cool. So, it being the having a daughter from a dad's perspective, as far as I'm concerned, while it has, challenges like being a parent, but that's one thing that I'll put being a father of a daughter makes it so special. That type of love.
Wow. So, Al, is it anybody of today's current players? Is it anybody that you...
Yeah, man. Good question.
That has the Mamba mentality? If you can see that in anybody.
So, all of the Mamba mentality, no, I don't see that. But if you would allow me to combine some players,
right,
like a Jimmy Butler, a Giannis, LeBron, Curry, Kawhi Leonard, like if you allow me to put all these people together, yeah, Westbrook.
Right. That was the one I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what makes Kobe just different in that, especially the words you chose, relentless, which I think is such a great adjective to describe Kobe.
Right.
But it's a relentlessness in everything basketball that had to do with winning. Like, and when you think about that type of relentlessness, like when it comes to the tenacity on defense, the aggressiveness on offense, the production on offense, the clutchness, not even just the willingness, but then at one point, the success at taking the last shot. Like, because there's two parts to that. You got to want it and then be good at it. Right. And he was that guy. So I think, and for me to say, and because I went all through the rosters of the teams. I'm like, don't shit on the NBA like this, Al. Don't do that. There's somebody in the NBA.
Right.
And I was like, nah, not really. But that still, I still can pick some great athletes. And like I said, if you allow me to throw those guys together in terms of relentlessness,
right,
because they are better at Kobe and other things. But when you talking about relentlessness, I don't see the equivalent to, and I don't even know if I've seen it too many other times in the NBA.
Right.
Like that's just one of the characteristics that made that man elite. And that's why I say you picked the right word, because that is the essence of who he was as a basketball player. Relentless. I like Iverson when it comes to that. He was relentless as well. But I think like the defensive proficiency that Kobe Bryant brings, as well as the offensiveness. Like he was at one point in his career, he was a lockdown defender, as well as a elite scorer.
Yeah, the league's premier scorer.
Correct. The league's premier, and you look at Michael Jordan. And when you're talking about he built his career on Michael, I think that was why he aspired to be that man in the league.
Right.
Because Michael had done it.
Yeah.
So if the guy I'm idolizing, that's how he became great, by being the premier scorer and the guy that could guard anybody in the league. Yeah, I want to be that guy too. I'm going to be that guy too.
I got to get the whole package.
I got to get that too.
Yeah.
And then he starts, so I think That was ill too, because when you think about when Kobe was coming into the world, at least into my purview, like being original and copying wasn't really all of that popular.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think people slighted him initially, like, man, you're just trying to be Mike.
Mm-hmm. And about them people
As
still
opposed
do.
as opposed to giving people props to be like, yo, if you're gonna pick an idol, that's a damn good idol.
Yeah.
Nah, we were looking at him like, oh man, you biting Mike, stop it. Oh, you went with the baldy? You went baldy?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
you really biting Mike.
And then if you think of, like, it ain't like even the idea of copying Mike wasn't original, because he wasn't the first one that people was saying, oh, you're going to be the next Mike. Like, we went through Harold Miner. We went through, like, Ron Harper, all these guys who emulated Michael Jordan.
Oh, but didn't do it.
Right, exactly. So you see all these dudes fail trying to live up to that standard, and you still got the balls to say, nope, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
And
do it.
And he's the closest thing we saw to Michael.
Another part of this tragedy is when you factor in the Hall of Fame.
Man, yeah.
And the fact that he's qualifying this year, we'll never get to hear his speech.
Right. And Kobe had a way with words that
Oh man, it was gonna be a phenomenal speech. Right.
Yeah, man.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Pooh, anybody for you of current players that has the Mamba mentality?
Nah, I don't see it. I mean, like Al say, it's a lot of players with certain attributes. Mm-hmm. However, I just don't look at one guy and be like, holy shit, that kid just won't stop. Mm-hmm. He just won't stop coming. Or man, he's stifling. He's all over that kid on one end of the court, and on the other end of the court, I'm saying he just won't stop coming. Mm-hmm. I don't see it right now that has both ends of that. But offensively, like in spurts, you see it, but I mean, he just won't stop coming. I just don't see it. I just don't see people out there where I can say that all the time. Like with like, Kobe and my guy, you would say that all the time. Like, the guy just won't stop coming. So nah, I don't see it like that, Jay. Like I said, I see spurts and whatnot, but like every moment the guys are out there, you're gonna say, man, he just won't stop coming. Right. I don't see that. I don't see that out of anyone.
Yeah.
But let me give a honorable mention to a young buck that I just happened to watch a game, and the person who came to my mind as oh man, what he reminded me of? Different style of game, but he did remind me of Kobe in terms of his attacking. Was Morant.
Ja
Morant. And I only watched him for a game, but but he plays the game differently.
He does.
Just the way he came at it, I was like, this kid kind of reminded me of Kobe.
Yeah.
But we'll see how his career progresses, though.
All right. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I think it's a lot of players that, like you said, if you could have like a transformer basketball player and put everybody together, or Voltron, like even the greatest of the great players today, like you say, yep, that box, he checks that box, checks that, and you get closer to the end, you're like, nah, he doesn't. And even with like even with LeBron, LeBron matched Kobe in like work ethic, off-season training, treating his body right, eating, even off the court, being a family man, all the things. He checks all those boxes. But when you get in the last 10 seconds of the game, that's what LeBron has is not right. You can't check that box because LeBron, as we all know, whether you like it or not, LeBron's going to make the quote-unquote smart play instead of saying this game's going to win or lose with me. So it's not even like that box doesn't. So it's like you said, Westbrook, like mentality, like anger, and like attacking.
How dare you?
Right.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like developing different skills to continue to make yourself better, he doesn't check that box. And he's not the same type. Like he's not as long and just naturally, like he's not as tall. So there's certain physical attributes he doesn't check. Jimmy Butler's not as good of an athlete as Kobe. And, again, not quite, I don't know what Jimmy does in the off season, but is, too early in his career to think he's going to last as long as Kobe did. Because he's already getting, beat up and slowing down. So yeah, it's nobody that really checks that box. At least, like you said, there's some like Ja Morant, he is relentless, but he's got a long way to go. De'Aaron Fox is another one that I like that is attacking. But again, still young and he damn sure ain't reached that level yet. So yeah, but there's a reason why, we consider some guys to be once in a lifetime, competitors and, there's a once in a generation. And there's a reason why we saw it with Michael and, we saw it with Kobe and we haven't seen it since.
Right. Well, I also wonder with his tragic death, with a lot of these, especially the young group of talented guards and wingmen, how does the tragedy affect some of that game? Like, so you look at how Tupac, when he died, like I just think, or even Biggie, I think like that death, some of those young people now, like they dig into your career, they dig into your lyrics, they dig into what made you great, and it impacts them.
True.
And hopefully that can impact and change some of our, players, because I think it can only change them for the better if it gets to them to work hard and develop the game more.
Yeah, absolutely.
On both sides of, like, can we get back to because I think LeBron got to the peak of a defensive player. Shout out to him. Kawhi, same thing. But not you don't necessarily see it coming from these younger athletes like Harden. Nah. Westbrook. Nah.
Off and on, right?
So hopefully we can get that back into the mix and what makes these great players great is on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Right. Yeah. And I think like it's kind of a sign of the times. Like these dudes now, they play in AAU together and they're young. Like, they all like each other, and it's a different era. Kobe didn't mind embarrassing you and having you really genuinely not like him. I heard Steve Nash say, the times him and Kobe hated each other, even his teammates. But that was okay. It was like it's times now. He's like Kobe's gone, and most of my memories now of times we hated each other. And that's just he said that was just within the last 2 days. He's like, but that's okay because those are the things that made him great, and those are the things that made us appreciate each other. So, yeah, you're right. I hope this does inspire. It's as hard as it'll be. It's easier said than done. But I hope it does inspire some young player who's in the NBA or coming soon to take on that totality of Kobe's game for a long stretch. Because like you mentioned, like LeBron got there, but it was maybe for 3 years where he was the premier offensive player and one of the premier defensive players in the league. Kevin Durant would do it in stretches, especially in like big moments in games, but never really over a long haul. I think Allen Iverson was really good in both ends. He was just so small. His impact wasn't as good. So hopefully it does, inspire a group of younger players to try to reach that pinnacle.
Because it takes, effort.
Right.
Technique, years, to build that into your game.
And more effort.
But we got some young, great wing guys, some young talent in the league that could make it a real different trajectory, better game, if you ask me. But
no doubt. Well, needless to say, there's a lot of people hurting. And before we go to commercial, I just want to say a really quick fuck you to all the people who are shaming people for openly mourning somebody they never met. If you want to take that time to either bash Kobe or bash people for feeling some kind of way or mourning someone they've never met, fuck you, get a life.
I'm with you on that one. Fuck you.
It's it's not your place to tell people how to mourn. So with that being said, we're gonna jump into a commercial. We'll be back with a Super Bowl preview.
Welcome to the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim. Join us as we discuss the latest in everything from entertainment and current events to the craziness that is our real life.
Let's laugh, let's live, let's talk about it. New episode every Tuesday on the Defy Life Podcast Network. And remember, if you're not defying life, then what are you doing? Lynn and Kim.
Welcome back to episode 142 of the Defy Life Podcast. It's JR, Al, and Pooh. We just finished talking about Kobe. Man, I know everybody's talking about Kobe, and rightfully so. But yeah, we are, any other time, a Super Bowl preview would lead off the show. Only goes to show you how important and impactful Kobe Bryant was when we pushed the Super Bowl to the back half of the show. So, guys, I know we got our picks coming out this week, and it's pretty tight at the top. Me, Al, I think you might be fighting for third right now. But
I thought I was fourth.
Maybe fourth.
I sucked this year.
But you got to beat Money. You and Money fight for like fourth.
Okay.
Yeah, but Pooh and me, you, and Halil, I think we like one game apart. So
okay.
So there will be a tiebreaker included in this week's picks. So start thinking about what the score of the game, the total amount points scored in the game will be. That'll be the tiebreaker. So, but yeah, man, so we got the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. As far as, historic, like, impact of these franchises, of course, the 49ers have 5 Super Bowls, but it's been a while, so player impact, it's a lot of new blood. And I think this is what makes this game fascinating. Like you mentioned last week, Al, the contrast in styles is what's going to make it fascinating as well. But what are, there are no major injuries to really think about, so every team's really fully loaded at this point. Really quickly, we ain't going to dig too deep because, like we said, we got our picks coming this week. But, Al, do y'all even want to give picks here if we giving picks? You want to reveal your picks now? Okay.
Let's not give it yet.
Right.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh.
I don't mind.
Oh, Pooh don't mind?
I'd rather hold off on mine, but go ahead, Pooh.
I'd rather hold off too, so Pooh, you outvoted. You're going to have to wait for your picks. You sound like you was excited. You want to give your pick? Go ahead and give your pick.
Go on, give your pick, bro, man.
No matter what, I would have been probably picking against the San Francisco 49ers just because. But, I'm going to Chiefs. It's all good. I mean, that San Francisco base D is not going to be on the field.
Right.
So even though their D is extremely formidable, they got pieces that they can plug in, and they got solid, second and third corners. However, when you take, if they have the audacity to play those linebackers against Nicole Hartman and Robinson and Kelsey, and if those guys are out there on the field,
and Debo,
it's gonna be it's gonna be a track meet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a track meet. No way they can put those, even though those linebackers are probably running 4.6s, but those guys on the Chiefs offense are running 4.3s. Right. And eventually you'll get stung. You can play with the B a lot, but eventually you'll get stung.
Right.
So eventually. So with that being said, man, Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. So Pooh gave us a little bit of insight on KC's offense versus San Fran's defense. Al, what do you think it's going to look like when San Fran has the ball? What are going to be the keys to San Fran's offense against Kansas City's defense?
I think San Fran's offense is going to be focused on getting first downs and controlling the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they can establish a running game,
mm-hmm.
and I like the couple of wide receivers and the tight end,
mm-hmm.
I think they have the ability to move the ball. Now, whether or not they can, I think the key is going to be, can San Fran's defense get some stops on Kansas City's offense? And that to me is going to be the game. If they can get some stops, I think San Fran can win it. But at the pickup stage, I don't want to reveal my pick because I'm not sure who I'm picking yet.
All right.
Really, that's where I'm at. I'm still studying. I'm still looking because I just think the matchups is. I think it's they definitely the premier on the teams. The better units are, I think, Kansas City's offense and San Fran's defense. On so you got ones going against ones basically. You know what I mean? Like I think, and then to see their offense, San Fran's offense. They have, I think they can, but I'm still studying because I really like the wide receivers. That's really the key when I'm looking at San Fran. I like the wide receivers and the tight end. Like, I think they're going to move the ball.
Yeah, they're going to move it.
All right.
Yeah, they're going to move the ball now. Shanahan, he's going to have a superb game plan. He definitely is. But I just don't know if the 49ers can get enough stops because all Kansas City can relatively get maybe 3 stops, and I mean it's possible they can score 3 touchdowns on those 3 stops. But I mean the Niners, they're no slouch. I mean we've seen them go down to New Orleans and score 48 points on the fourth ranked defense in the league. So I mean they're no slouch, nothing to sneeze at. I just think that the Kansas City D is going to get enough stops where they're going to put an enormous amount of pressure on the 49ers D to stop the Chiefs offense, and I just think that I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Not 80% of the game.
Yeah, but see, I think what makes their defense, San Fran's defense, have a puncher's chance is that pass rush, which can affect the quarterback. Like if there's anything we know in football that can affect a really, really good quarterback for one game, is a pass rush.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And they have one of the better ones in the league.
I agree with that.
Then you match that up with 2. I'm gonna give them 2 really good cornerbacks. 2 really good cornerbacks, like Sherman and 41. I don't know his name because he just new on the scene. I don't know his name yet. but I know kid can ball.
Yeah.
And again, that's to go up against Kansas City's offense. They're gonna get their points, but I'm just saying they have the ability to have that puncher's chance with those cornerbacks in the pass rush.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying right now, bro. Ooh, it's gonna be a good one.
No, it's it's definitely a puncher's chance. I just think, man, I think San Fran gonna have to play dime.
It might.
I think.
Can San Fran run though? Will they be able to run against that, or are they going to throw against the dime?
No, I'm saying I think they're gonna have to play dime. San Fran gonna have to play dime on D, and then at that point, the Chiefs really gonna be able to dictate the game. I mean, they're gonna be able to dictate the game flow. They're gonna be able to pass it. They're gonna be able to run it. You're gonna see Williams get 12 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. And I mean, what corner they're gonna put 1-on-1 against Tariq Hill with those wheels and then. Sammy's gonna wake up, and then McCole, and then Robinson, and then Kelsey, bro.
Yeah, that's a matchup problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think Kansas City there's gonna be an avalanche at some point in that game.
At some point, Jay. At some point.
Like we always compare them to the Golden State Warriors of the last 4 years. Like, as good as you are defensively. Like, we see it in the finals with Cleveland every year. Best defensive team in the league. And for 60% of the game, 70% of the game, they hold them down. Stay close with them at least. But it's that avalanche. When that avalanche hits, and I don't know if that avalanche hits, especially if it hits early and San Fran gets down, will they be patient enough to continue running them? Because Jimmy G's not going to outduel Pat Mahomes.
Right. No, that's not going to happen.
So if they get into that mode, it's over. And will they have the patience to stick with their running game? And will it be enough? Because you don't want to get in a game where you're trading touchdowns for field goals.
Right. And I think what makes these games usually different, and I don't know what it is about big games, but it's usually not usually, but occasionally, it's somebody that you didn't really expect them to be special, or like a punt return or a kickoff return, and then you look at who has more playmakers. That's Kansas City. Who go bust one, and you're like, yo, who is that kid? Right. Yeah, I know he runs a 4.3. You ain't never heard of him before, but he fast as hell.
Yeah, right. But that's on that. But San Fran also has playmakers on the defense. Like, they can get a strip sack return for a fumble.
Yeah.
Just like that, and get and turn the tide in the game.
And their linebackers,
right?
They're gonna be off the field though.
Right, that's the thing.
That's true.
It's gonna
be down. They will be.
It's gonna be it's gonna be Fred Warner and a bunch of DBs back there.
Right.
And as good as they are,
it's not walking through that locker room door.
Right. But you're right. It's gonna. And usually, you're right. I think more often than not, it's somebody that we least expect makes a big play. That kind of becomes like. Speaking of which, the X factor. That was my next question. Al, who do you think is going to be? Who or what is going to be the X factor in this game?
So I'm going with the X factor is the line, the offensive line of Kansas City and the defensive line of San Fran. And to me, that's going to be the difference in the game. Who wins that matchup?
All right.
Because if San Fran D can dominate, I mean, they're going to have to bring it. But if they're able to dominate Kansas City's offensive line, then this is a game. And I think that's their chance to me, that's their chance. That's their path to winning. This unit has to come to the stadium saying, bruh, the only way we get out of here with the ring is if we bust their ass tonight. And if we can bust their ass, we got a shot. But we got to dominate tonight. And so to me, that's the X factor. Who dominates who?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's going to be huge. Pooh, what about you? What's the X factor? Who or what is going to be the X factor in this game?
The X factor. Okay, they're gonna bracket Tyreek Hill. All right, boom. They're gonna bracket Tyreek Hill. They're going to. I think they're gonna attempt to bracket Kelsey. But what they do is they line up Kelsey and Tyreek on the same side of the field most of the time to prevent that.
All right.
To prevent that. So, with that being said, you're probably gonna see a lot of that. You're gonna see four wide receiver sets. 4 or 5 wide receiver sets, tight end. Travis Kelce, man, 9 catches, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he's gonna be unstoppable. He's gonna be unstoppable.
This is the type of game where tight ends usually have big games, simply because, like you said, if San Fran has to go out of their base defense and do a lot of things they're not used to doing, tight ends usually prosper in those type of games just because it's across the middle of the field, so a lot of confusion happens. Yeah, Kelsey could have a really big game. You're right.
Yeah, and with that being said, I mean, I think George Kittle can have a huge game.
He could.
Oh yeah.
But Kelsey, I'm just giving him the edge.
Right. And Kelsey has Mahomes to run to him.
Agreed. And he has a lot more offensive weapons.
Right.
Out there.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one, man. I don't know if I've been outside of, the Steelers being in the Super Bowl, I can't remember the last time I've been as excited about a Super Bowl as this one.
Well, I think one of the things that's fueling my excitement is something you mentioned. I don't know if it was the last podcast or the week before that, but the notion that it's not going to be a Brady, a Manning, a Breeze. Like, it's just a new characters. New frontier of quarterbacks, and I think it really is ushering in what we see. We've been talking about it coming down the pipeline. Is that there's some young quarterbacks in the league playing good ball, and it's time for them to lead their teams to the Super Bowl. Here we have 2 of the young ones, Garoppolo and Mahomes, and I think from a brother perspective, it's hard not to root for Mahomes.
Right.
Yeah. Nice to have another one on the list. So.
Yeah. And it's historic. Anytime, especially, we talked about this a few episodes ago, when this year has really been a changing of the guard at the quarterback position. Like you said, no Breeze, no Brady, no Roethlisberger, no Manning, either Manning.
Manning.
It's this has really been a changing of the guard at quarterback. Eli just retired. Phillip Rivers is probably not far away. So it's officially a new era in the NFL. And the Super Bowl, this Super Bowl really speaks to that at the quarterback position. So, again, that's probably why, it is so exciting and it's fascinating. And, again, I can't remember the last Super Bowl where there wasn't a built-in excuse. Whether somebody got hurt earlier in the season or, somebody's just coming back from injury or, you don't know if somebody's going to be at full speed. Like, neither team has any major injuries, so there's no built-in excuses. It's just time to go slug it out. So it's going to be fun.
And I don't know it's been a long time since we've had, I think you look at Kansas City's offense, they have so many weapons, just that type of, we haven't seen such an explosive offense
since the Rams
in a few years. Just,
right.
it's going to be I guess I'm anticipating what type of performance are they going to put up, because Tom Brady, he's put up points, but it's usually because of his mastery as opposed to we haven't the Super Bowl with him and Randy Moss has been a few years.
Right.
He don't come with weapons. He just come with himself. He the weapon.
And even in that Super Bowl, like, they scored 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really get off in that Super Bowl. I think, the last like really explosive team we saw like that performed that way in the Super Bowl. I can't even, like, even the Rams didn't really get off like that against the Patriots. Like, I can't think of.
Yeah, I was thinking the Rams, but I was like, but they didn't get off like that though.
All right. So yeah, and it's gonna be interesting. I don't know. This is gonna be fun, man. So, I guess the Falcons were the number one offense in the league, and they blew a 28-3 lead. So, shout out to you, Keon. I don't know, man. But I don't know. It's gonna be fun, and even if it's not, like, this is one of those kind of games where even if the score is not close, I think the action will be fun.
Yeah.
So
I mean, then you talk about the coaches.
Right.
I mean, does Andy Reid finally get his Super Bowl?
All right.
Or is it the coach's son, Shanahan, who redeems himself after that Atlanta Falcon?
Yeah.
He was the OC in that debacle, and down here in Atlanta, his name is Dirt.
Right.
Like, there are so many Falcon fans who blame him specifically for that Super Bowl for the play calling.
Yeah.
And not running the ball enough. And here he is, Atlanta has taken the dive, and he's in the Super Bowl. So
by running the ball mostly. So
okay. He learned his lesson in San Fran.
So well, yeah, man.
So yeah,
that'll be fun. Yeah, so we'll definitely wrap it up, and revisit after the game. I don't know. I'm not gonna ask for Pooh. You can give us who you think Kelsey's gonna be the MVP.
I'm still go probably Patrick MVP.
Okay. Got you. Al ain't gonna ask you for your MVP because that's gonna probably determine who your winner is gonna be. The loser,
right.
So, we got one listener question this week. Before
how
we
about
get into
this?
trivia.
Can I hedge my bets?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll say it's either gonna be Patrick Mahomes,
okay,
or Bosa.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, Bosa could get off this game.
Yeah, and I want to see him. I like him.
Yeah, I like
Bosa. He can. Let me tell you what I'm thinking they're gonna do against Bosa. He's phenomenal, but I'm thinking, and this may help them out with Brackett and Hill, because Bosa, he normally lines up now on that opposite side of the field, but what the Chiefs do against dominant pass rushers, they chip them with Kelsey. When Kelsey releases, he chips inside, and at that point he knocks that defensive pass rusher off balance, and then he goes on to carry out his route.
Right, and he
does that a lot,
and he's one of the best at it.
And like, it would behoove me if that's not the game plan, Jay. Especially they're not. They may do that in the beginning and may go away from it at different times, but I don't think they're gonna let Bosa wreck the game.
Nah, he ain't gonna run free at all.
No, you gotta account for him. But they got other people on the line too, though.
Yeah. I mean, between Buckner and Ford.
Yeah, I know Quinn. Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know either.
So that's the good thing. We don't know.
I want to see it.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, I want to see it though. Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah.
All right. A little bit of change of pace on our listener question. Get us away. Well, may get us away from sports for one segment. It may not. Pooh, you first. Mandy in Raleigh, North Carolina wants to know, if you had to delete all but 3 apps from your phone, which 3 apps would you keep?
which 3 apps would I keep? I always, excuse me. I always check my Defy Life app. Click on there, see what we got on there, see what we got going on. I always check my PayPal app. I don't ever have any money in it, but I always check my PayPal.
Let's say, man, PayPal lit.
Okay,
right.
That's how we doing it.
And I probably would go with. I'm sitting here looking at my phone right now. It used to be. Dude, it used to be my ESPN app. Like I was all over it, checking sports all the time. But it would probably be my fantasy football app.
Okay. All right.
Fantasy football.
Cool. All right. Al.
Yes, sir.
Which 3 apps you checking all your money on?
Bank of America app.
Right.
My Swiss watch apps. So I'm thinking I need my maps.
Okay.
I'm just looking at my phone right now. I'm like, what would I real talk not get rid of? I need
right.
GPS.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I used to hate it, but I used to clown people, but I'm a GPS motherfucker.
Right.
I need my music, so I need iTunes.
Okay.
And shit, I guess since I do got to go to work, I need my clock. My alarm clock on my phone, so I can wake up. Otherwise, it ain't working. I need a check.
Oh,
I need a check. Like, yo, why you ain't come to work, bro? Yo, I took my alarm app off my phone. I can't come to work on time.
I only get 3 apps, B. I can't get to work.
I only could get 3 apps, and you deleted your alarm clock. Yo, I ain't think about that.
Oh, man.
I wanted my ESPN, though.
Right. You're like, I'm late for work, but Lakers won last night.
The Lakers.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely have to keep my GPS. I don't use my alarm clock. I usually wake up in time. If not, I'll hear one of my kids' alarm clock go off. So, yeah, I definitely keep my GPS. The Defy Life pod, the Spreaker app, where I can just go directly to all our podcasts. So I go to that one.
Right.
And shit, I gotta be with you, Pooh. My Wells Fargo app. Shit, I guess so. I gotta count all these gold bricks like Pooh.
No doubt. No doubt.
Oh,
that was
man.
a great question.
Yeah, that's a good question because I don't.
No, that is a great.
Right, because that's something I would never think of.
I gotta find a way to maneuver my GPS in that joint though, because I'm horrible with directions.
You mean you don't ever use your GPS? Oh, you mean like
No.
to keep it?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta find a way. She gotta let me get a half or something, or
Well,
you
better drop that PayPal with no money in it and get your GPS.
I maneuver bread too. I gotta.
Right? Yeah, I guess I gotta have my Chrome app because if I ain't got all my apps, I at least got to be able to get online. So take Wells Fargo off and give me Chrome, so that way I can get online and check all the stuff I ain't got in apps.
You right. See, but you don't find a loophole in it though.
I did. Right. Take that, man.
You doing that J shit.
You
find a loophole.
Found you a way around.
You knew I was gonna find a way around. Take that, man.
Right.
You can't take my Chrome away from me. But that's a damn good question, though.
No, it is.
Yeah, appreciate it, Mandy. From Raleigh. Shout out to Raleigh. But yeah, anybody want to, hit us up with a listener question, get something off your chest if you just disagree with something we say, or if you want to ask Pooh to borrow some money, whatever. Just hit us up on all platforms of social media at Go Defy Life, or you can email us at info@godefylife.com. Guys, y'all ready for some trivia?
Yeah, bro.
No doubt, man.
This one's going to be fun. In honor of Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant, we have all Kobe trivia tonight.
Okay.
So, there are 3 sections.
Okay.
We have each section, the next one is harder. So, the easiest section, the Kobe section, there are 4 questions. You can try one of those for 1 point. The next section, the Bean section, is for 2 points. Those are a little bit harder. And the Mamba section, the hardest ones. There are 4 questions there. You can choose any points you want from 1 through 3. Just know that the 3 questions are extremely hard. If you want to get 3 points. Of course, the 1 are easy, and the 2 are a little bit harder than the 1. So,
How many 2 questions are there?
There are 4 in each section.
4 in each section. Gotcha.
So, let me pull these up here. All right. Who won last week?
I hosted, right?
Yeah, you hosted.
You did.
Jay, you won.
Okay.
Yeah, you won.
All right. Well, Pooh, you hosted. You can go first this week.
No doubt.
Let me get this pulled up here.
You said we have Kobe, we have Mamba, and we have Bean, right?
Yeah, Kobe, then Bean, then Mamba.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Pooh, all right, where you want to go?
Let me try Kobe for 2.
All right. Let's get to the 2. All right. So the first one in the Bean section. For most of his rookie year, Kobe came off the bench. What all-star shooting guard did he back up that year?
Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones is correct. 2 points for Pooh. All right. Al, on you.
I'll take another one of those Bean questions.
All right. Let's get to the next Bean question here. Write down Pooh's points.
So all of the beans are the 2, or is it 1 through 4?
Yeah, all the beans are for 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Al, the next Bean question. If Kobe had gone to college, which school did he say he would have attended?
North Carolina.
Close, but so far away. Duke is the correct answer.
Yeah, it's Duke.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yes.
You know how you felt about Coach K?
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as I said North Carolina, thinking Jordan, but as soon as it came out my mouth, like, no, he loves Coach K.
Cole loves Coach K.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get another bean, Jay.
All right. The next Bean question. Kobe is 4th on the all-time NBA scoring list. Behind which 3 players?
Behind Karl Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and LeBron James.
There you go. All right. 2 more for Pooh.
Damn, Pooh, slow down, bro.
All right. All right. Al, you got 1 more left in the Bean section. Everything in Kobe and everything in Mamba.
Let's go and take... let me take the first Mamba question.
The first Mamba question. The aforementioned 1996 NBA draft class included 3 players who would win at least 1 regular season MVP award. Kobe and what 2 others?
Allen Iverson.
Right.
And Garnett.
That is incorrect. Allen Iverson and Steve Nash.
Dunk. Oh, Nash.
Steve Nash. Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Pooh, on you.
Let me get that last bean.
To take out the bean, who did the Lakers trade for Kobe on draft night in 1996?
Vlade Divac.
Ooh, Pooh.
Damn,
Pooh. Damn. All right. All right. All the beans are gone. Al?
Give me another Mamba question.
The next Mamba question. In 2006, Kobe scored a career-high 81 points against the Toronto Raptors. Ironically, he also had his season low game, his season lowest point game against Toronto. How many points did he score in that season low?
Wow.
10.
9 points.
Oh, close. 11 was his season low.
Okay, now you said we have Mamba and we have Kobe.
Right, yeah. All the Kobe's are left. Yeah.
All the Kobe's are all those worth 2 as well?
All those are worth 1.
1. Okay, give me a code.
All right. Kobe was drafted after attending which high school?
Marion. What is it? Lower Marion High School.
That is correct. Another one for Pooh. All right.
Damn, you know
7-0
Look, I'm glad I'm missing a hard question because I would have felt bad missing a Kobe question. I didn't know that shit either.
Really? All right.
Let me take the other Mamba question.
All right. We got 2 Mambas left. You're going for one of them.
Okay. Yeah, let me take one of
them. Kobe was MVP in what year?
2000.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
2010.
Oh, that is incorrect. It's the 07-08 season.
Okay.
So either 07 or 08, you would have got it.
Okay.
Right.
And the mamas are how much, Jay?
3.
Okay, let me go ahead and knock that mama out. Get him out the way so he can't get that joint.
Don't matter. I ain't getting them anyway.
The final Mamba question. Kobe was the first guard in NBA history to accomplish what feat?
First guard in NBA history to accomplish what? To average 50 points in a week?
Incorrect. To play 20 years in the NBA.
Okay.
And
he was the first NBA. He's the only NBA player to do that as well. Averaged 53 players. Yeah, after average 53 points in a week span. I read that today. I thought that was the question.
That is interesting.
Right.
But it wasn't my question. So
I thought that was the question.
And by the way, Vince Carter became the second this year. Excuse me. All right, Al. Just for kicks and giggles, which one of these Kobe questions you want to go for?
I'll take the next one. Don't matter. Whatever the next one is.
Shit.
Let's
go with the next Kobe question. Let's see. Oh, we actually got 3 left. Yeah. Kobe was the only player to have 2 jerseys retired by the same team. What were those jersey numbers?
8 and 24.
8 and 24 is correct. Pooh. Kobe was drafted by which NBA team?
Charlotte Hornets.
Charlotte Hornets is correct. And to wrap it up, Al, Kobe's dad played in the NBA also. What is his name?
Joe Jellybean Bryant.
That is correct. And that wraps up our Kobe dedicated trivia. Pooh wins with a total score of 8 to Al's 2. So at least got on the board, Al. You didn't pull a regular Scott this week.
Appreciate that.
Right. So
on the board.
Right. So yeah, man. Shout out to Kobe. I started to just read a bunch of questions, see if y'all can answer them, and just not keep score. But what the hell would Kobe think if we did trivia and nobody won? So
true that.
Would be un-Kobe-like.
That would be very un-Kobe-like. So yeah. So Pooh, you won, man. What you got for me? What's your parting shot, sir?
Man, today's my youngest, man. My youngest, his birthday. Wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Erickson. Many more. No doubt. And I went up to eat lunch with him today, his mom and I. So I stood over in the little parent section or visitor section while she went, to garner him and bring him over. And he was, walking with her, and he looked up and saw me standing over by the, in the visitor section, and he was like, "Daddy," and he begins to trot over, to me. Dude, and I fall completely apart.
Really?
I fall apart. Wow. He comes over, gives me a hug, and I was like, "Happy birthday, buddy." And dude, I had to run off because I didn't want him to see me fall to pieces. And I just became overwhelmed with emotions, with the Kobe thing and just being there for my child and experiencing that, and just thinking about. It seems like yesterday he was being born, and now 5 years old. So I just became overwhelmed, man. And like I said, I had to run off. I had to scurry off in the corner to keep from seeing me fall apart. I came back. He was like, "Dad, your eyes are red." And I was like, "Yeah, it's just air in here, man. That's all it is. Or air in the building."
Wow.
But shout out, man. Happy birthday, Erickson. Rest in peace, Kobe and G and and all the other families, and God bless them. God speed to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. My mom said something to me when I was a kid, and of course it's one of those things you don't understand until you have your own, but she used to always say to me, "I love you more than you could ever love me." And I never understood that. Until you have kids and you realize it ain't no way you could love me more than I love you. Like, because kids don't get it, but when you become a parent,
they don't get it.
That's a type of love you've never experienced.
Right.
So, yeah, it can happen. So, and kudos to you for, being man enough to say, you love your kids and you cry over your kids. That's dope.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right. Al, what you got for me?
Well, I mean, I one of the things that just crossed my mind is how individuals go through this world and through life without the experiencing the joy and the deep love of being a parent. That's I think that's just part of this world, this human experience that people are. If you aren't experiencing it, to me, you're just missing out on something great of being on this planet. But my parting shot is just a acknowledgement, reminder as we process the loss of Kobe. I just want to lift up his being a great father, and on a podcast where we are great fathers, we talk about fatherhood, we share the impact of our fathers on us. I think one of the things that made him likable to a lot of people at this phase of his life was seeing him as that father, and I think also understanding him being an advocate for women's basketball I think it's also a reminder how your kids sometimes can expose you to things and help you continue to grow and develop and become somebody you weren't in your younger phase of life.
Right.
And it's just cool to see us as fathers embracing things that we might not have done as kids, but they start doing it, whether it's music, whether it's basketball, whatever it is, karate, martial arts, and just like, I kind of like soccer. For me, it was my son in soccer. Like, I ain't play soccer, but he starts playing soccer, and I'm like, this game ain't that bad. And I mean, I like women's basketball before my daughter started playing, but once she starts playing, I definitely got to advocate on behalf of it, because I can't let you shit on the sport. That's my daughter plays that.
Right. No doubt. No doubt.
Shit on the sport, you shouldn't know what my daughter's doing. Stop that. So he, part of being a black father of girls, of young ladies, is allowing them to blossom into strong black women. And he seemed to be on that path. And so it's acknowledgement of who he was, but also acknowledgement of the void that's going to be in his children's lives going forward. So that's my parting shot. All in all, just shout out to fathers, all of us, because it's a great thing to do, great thing to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just, for the record, Pooh, just in case you was wondering, I wasn't over here thinking you was a wuss just because you was crying over,
Nah.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Keeping that same theme, I'm always chronicling the lives of my kids. So I want to big up both of my sons, man. LaDanian just turned 13. So y'all pray for me. I got a teenager. This shit is not going to be easy. He already killing me. But, shout out to him, man. He came home yesterday and just found out he's going to be taking high school classes next year in the 8th grade. So, his whole curriculum will be a high school curriculum. So he's on pace to, to be taking college courses before he graduates. So, excited for him, and that transition through middle school can be hell. So I'm glad to see him thriving. And then Lincoln, I told y'all he got his first girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
So he comes home yesterday and just like, we held hands today. So shout out to Lincoln for holding hands with his girl, walking around the track at recess.
No doubt.
The boy got game. It's good to see your kids, grow and experience things. I always say this, like I want my sons to experience the entire gambit. I want them to love. I want them to get their hearts broken. I want them to, to cry. I want them to laugh. I want them to experience it all. Because that's truly how we live, is when we experience things. I don't want to keep them in a bubble. So,
I think it's dope that he talks to you too, though.
Yeah,
like just
right.
I think that's cool when you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, that's something I always stress to them. Of course, it might be times you mess up. I would tell them all, you're gonna fuck up. It's gonna happen. But if you do, I don't ever want you to say, I fucked up. I cannot let my dad find out about this. I want your first words to be, I fucked up. I need to call my dad.
Right.
So, right. I encourage them all the time that even though I'm going to be disappointed, or I'm going to be overjoyed and embarrass you in public, call me and talk to me. So I try to stress that, because I remember not being able to talk to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah. That's all I got. Y'all, thank y'all for checking out this episode. It's been, a special episode for us. Of course, a lot of people are talking about Kobe, and it's an honor to be able to honor him on our own platform. So again, our condolences, our hearts go out to his family, the other families involved in this tragedy, and people, take your time and mourn. Don't let nobody shame you in your mourning. People touch you and somebody's affected your life, acknowledge that, and acknowledge it while they're alive as well. So this has been episode 142 of the Defy Life Podcast. Y'all definitely go out, check us out, rate us, share it, tell somebody about it, and we'll talk to y'all next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life.
If you're into all things comics, you have to check out Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, your go-to podcast for comic and superhero discussion, debates, polls, and more. Tune in as Regular Scott and Ozzy Killmonger chat about your favorite comic topics, and you never know who may show up for an open mic or what will be next on their favorite One Gotta Go. Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, every Sunday, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network.